So we're happy to see you here today with us. And I'm going to start out just by welcoming you, and then we're going to go and introduce ourselves to you so you can learn a little bit about us. And we'll go on and with our agenda, which is, see, here's our agenda, who we are. You'll meet some of our graduate faculty. We'll talk about our programs that we offer. Where we're located, a little bit about Newark and the University of Delaware, some things about what you're going to study, and how long it would take to finish your degree, as well as what's different about our various programs, so you can kind of see which one works for you. So again, welcome. I'm going to go ahead and pull up our faculty here who are with us today. But I wanted to let you know too that if you have questions as we go along, please feel free to drop them in the chat box, and then we will definitely have time at the end to go over any questions that you have, either through the chat or that you want to ask, in person through the Zoom session. So that's how we're going to run. So again, I'm Leslie Allshouse. You see pictured here Esther Biswas-Fiss. Dr. Biswas-Fiss is the chair of our department, and she also serves several roles in these programs. She has a research program where she studies inherited visual disorders, and she is also the chair. She runs the graduate programs. Again, many different roles. Unfortunately, Dr. Biswas-Fiss had a conflict today, so she couldn't join us in this virtual session, but she's very happy to address any questions that you might have later. I'm next, and so I'm Leslie Allshouse. I have been here, I'm finishing up my 20th year. I am a UD, University of Delaware alum. I have several roles also in the department. I currently serve as the vice chair of the department. I'm the undergraduate medical laboratory science program director. I'm an instructor, senior instructor in the department. So I teach. I don't have a formal research program, although I do some things, small. Thank you. What else can I tell you? I did, all three of my degrees I did here. So I'm a true blue hen, and I hope that some of you will become true blue hens as well. So next going across here is Professor Andrew Hollinger. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Leslie. Hi, everyone. My name is Andrew Hollinger. I'm an instructor in the department. I've been here for 2 years now. I came in 2022. Before coming here, I was the microbiology supervisor at a health system in Kent and Sussex County, Delaware. So my area of expertise is clinical micro. I also serve in the department as the program director for the graduate medical laboratory science program. So hopefully some of you that are on the meeting today. I teach clinical immunology and medical virology, of course, medical microbiology and parasitology, as well as a hybrid lecture lab course in molecular diagnostics. So welcome, everyone.
Excellent. Thank you. I probably should have told you what I teach. So I do teach, my main area is immunohematology or transfusion medicine, and I teach that at the undergrad and graduate level. I have a few other areas, ethics, communication skills types of courses for the undergrads, and some senior seminars for the undergrads, but primarily what I would be interacting with you in would be in the MLS program for immunohematology or transfusion medicine, sorry. On to Dr. Vijay Parashar.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vijay, and I'm a faculty in the department. My previous institute was Rutgers, where I had a research lab and as a faculty position, and I moved to University of Delaware about 6 years ago. And I do teaching and research in my position, and our research in our lab focuses on protein biology. So we focus on how proteins function by using high-resolution techniques of looking at structures of proteins. And in my teaching portfolio, I teach courses that relate to protein purification, protein characterization, as well as courses on bioinformatics and proteomics that are related to it. It's a pleasure to be here, and I hope this session is going to be good for everybody to get something out of it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Dr. Mona Batish?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Mona Batish, and I'm an associate professor in the department. And I actually trained as a cell biologist, and I do a lot of cell biology kind of research in my lab, which involves, looking at gene expression regulation and understanding how different molecules act inside the cells at a very fine resolution imaging. And in terms of teaching, I'm mainly teaching in the biotech track, so where I teach molecular diagnostics, introduction to biotechnology, and also I direct the department seminar course where we have students from a PhD program as well as from our master's program present their research, their updates, and we have invited speakers, and we try to make it very productive. So I'm here to answer any questions you have regarding research or about the biotech track or anything that you want to ask for, and I look forward for an engaging session.
Great, thank you. And last but most important, I think here possibly is Kelly Belowitz. Kelly serves as our graduate services coordinator. Kelly, would you like to talk a little bit?
That pretty much covers it. I'm Kelly Belowitz, your graduate services coordinator, and I take care of all the things that are not academic in nature, all the paperwork and logistics and registrations and all that sort of thing to keep everything running.
She's playing that down, but it's a key role. Welcome. All right, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about the University of Delaware and where we're located and all of that. So the University of Delaware was founded in 1743, chartered in 1833 by the state, and it is a land grant, sea grant, and space grant university. And I always have to pull my notes out for this part. We've been in existence for almost 3 centuries. What all that means, a land grant, all that means as a land grant institution, the University of Delaware strives to meet the needs of Delawareans in the agricultural and natural resources, family development, and youth education areas. On the Sea Grant side, UD supports research of ideas and technologies to promote the judicious use and stewardship of marine and coastal resources. We have majors in those areas as well. And then you can see we have quite the coastline. And then related to space, the University of Delaware supports and provides STEM education and research to facilitate the understanding and participation in NASA's aeronautics and space projects. So we're kind of all over the place. You can see that we generate a significant amount of research grant funding, and as an R1 institution, and what that means is R1 is the highest designation by the Carnegie Classification of Institutions of Higher Education. And this is given to universities with the highest levels of research activity. So we're very, very active in the area of research. We're one of about 150 degree granting institutions that have that designation among about 4,000 US institutes of higher learning. So we do have a very strong research infrastructure in place if that's where your interests lie as well. As far as Newark and where we're located, we're really in a key spot here. Newark is really a small town, has a lovely main street with lots of eateries if you like to eat like we do. So different shops and things there, and we're surrounded by acres of parkland that also cross our other 2 counties as well. We are a small state, as you can see, but we are located centrally between Philadelphia and Baltimore, so real quick drive can have you in either one of those, or you can hop on public transportation. And we do have a train station, just a short walk, even from our building here, that can send you off to New York City or down to Washington, D.C. in no time as well. And with those lovely coastlines, we do have some wonderful beaches within 2 hours or less, and that's my favorite part. So I love it here, and I hope that you will too. Okay. So what are we here to tell you about? We have 4 graduate programs that students can choose from. We have a Master's of Science in Applied Molecular Biology and Biotechnology. This program is an entry-level program, so it is designed for a student who does not have a background in biotechnology and molecular biology. Recently became accredited by ASBMB, the American Society for Biochemistry and Molecular Biology. And it is geared towards the biotech and biopharma sector. So we'll talk more about what all that means. And this is, again, a master's degree. We have a master's, entry-level master's in medical laboratory science. This is also entry-level. It is an accredited program by the National Accrediting Agency for Clinical Laboratory Sciences. And this is geared towards the medical and clinical laboratory sector. So the individuals who want to work in a clinical or hospital laboratory. Again, this is entry-level, so it's not designed for students who already have a degree in medical laboratory science. But possibly in chemistry, biology, some other areas. So Andrew will be talking more about that. We have a Master's of Science in Medical Sciences. This is a standalone master's, but we also have it tied to some of our undergraduate programs where students can do their undergraduate degree and the Master's in Medical Sciences in a 5-year period together. This is an advanced practice or a degree program, or some students do use it to gain a master's when they're in a gap year between their undergrad and whatever their future program might be of study. It does have a very flexible curriculum, and Dr. Mona Batish will be telling you more about that. And then we have a PhD in medical sciences, PhD program. And this is a traditional biomedical science thesis-based type of program, which you would imagine, a typical PhD program is about. And Dr. Parshar will be telling you more about that in a few moments. So I'll discuss the MS in applied molecular biology and biotechnology. So in this, back up again. In this program, the students are engaged in obviously lecture courses, but also very tied in with skills-based laboratory courses. They're learning marketable technical skills in various areas of shown here: recombinant DNA techniques, cell and tissue culture, molecular diagnostics, a couple of courses in that, protein expression, protein purification, bioinformatics, human genetics, flow cytometry, and more. So this program has a lot of hybrid courses where you have lecture and laboratory together, as well as standalone lecture types of courses included. Upon graduation, the graduate from this program is really ready to hit the ground running to work in the biotech industry. Some decide to go into the biotech industry and take the, pursue jobs in that area. Some decide to go on the research side because that's where their interests are, and some go on for further education as well. This does provide excellent preparation for the graduates to sit for the Molecular Biology Board of Certification exam that is offered through the American Society for Clinical Pathology. Sorry, I just drew blank there for a second. Here's a little bit more to kind of give you a demonstration of what the curriculum looks like. It is designed as a 1-year program, but sometimes students do like to stretch it out a little bit longer, so we can extend it into a 2 or 3-year configuration depending on what the student is interested in. So it's got a variety of choices here. There's the fall semester is going to start you out with some research design, some techniques types of courses, a couple of lecture courses, and kind of getting some of that background information and skill set started out. You'll have a course in the winter session, and then you'll have additional courses in the spring semester. And then the final semester is when the students complete practicums. Throughout this program, they're also working on a scholarly type of activity, a research project, and this will span 2 semesters as well. So some students decide they want to do something more wet bench type of research, and they'll work with one of our faculty or other faculty across campus, or they may be more interested in something that's very heavily literature-based and pursuing an activity like that for scholarly activity. They are set up by our program director to complete advanced practicums in the biotech area. So you might be going out to, again, a research, academic research lab somewhere on campus, or you might be out in industry. And we have many, many industry partners as well. This gives you kind of an idea of some of the partners we have, as well as some of the programs of, or employment opportunities that students have pursued. The picture in the middle, the young man standing there working with, I think we're high school students that were here for a science camp in the summer, this is Joe Osanubi, and Joe graduated from the ANBB program, and then he is currently working at Merck as a research scientist. So really, you can see some of these companies are very genetics oriented. They might be working on vaccinations, vaccine development, lots of different opportunities, depending on what your interests are. And these graduates are extremely highly sought after. They get jobs if they're interested in getting jobs. They have no problem with that based on the skill set that they've developed through this program. All right, I'm going to turn it over now to Professor Hollinger, and he's going to talk to you about the MS in MedLab Science.
All right, thank you. So I'm just going to cover the MS in Medical Laboratory Science program. So this is designed for students who have a undergraduate science degree, so general science degree, like biology, chemistry, microbiology. There's others that would also be applicable, but want to get a job in healthcare. So let's say you're having difficulty finding a job. Maybe you do want to work in healthcare. You want to work with others in the healthcare setting, but behind the scenes to help with patient care. And so this is a perfect profession for you. And if you like laboratory work, that's even better. So in these courses, we're going to have lecture on the theory behind the laboratory medicine. So why are we doing this? Why is it important? What kind of diseases are we looking for? But also you'll apply those techniques in the theory in the laboratory portion of the course as well. So we're going to have lecture and lab running at the same time in the semester. So the disciplines that you will learn in this program include clinical chemistry, to the measurement of a lot of biomolecules from blood and other body fluids. Hematology and coagulation, so the study of blood cells and coagulation or clotting in the body, and what normal and abnormal would look like. Molecular diagnostics, so diagnosing disease or mutations based on nucleic acids or proteins. Clinical microbiology, where we're looking for infectious agents like bacteria or viruses, and there are some others. Immunohematology or transfusion medicine, where we're making sure that the blood products that we provide our patients are safe and compatible for them. And appropriate based on their genetics sometimes. Also, urine and body fluid analysis. We're examining urine to make sure that the kidneys are functioning properly, as well as a variety of body fluids. What might be abnormal in one site might be normal for another. And then unique to graduate students, they're also going to take a course on flow cytometry. Our undergraduate students just get a little taste of flow cytometry, but not a full course in this. And so our graduate students are able to take a course at the flow cytometry core lab here on our campus, and are actually able to use the flow cytometers and learn how those work and test patient samples, fresh patient samples. In many of our laboratories, you can see pictures here. We're including not only the manual testing, but also automated methods. So we have some analyzers there, and the students are learning how to troubleshoot those analyzers. We have a lot of microscopic work, especially for microbiology and hematology, where we're looking at infectious agents or we're looking at blood cells. And then on the bottom left, we have a student working with a culture plate in the microbiology lab. So at the conclusion of the program, because we are accredited through NACLS, students are eligible to sit for the Board of Certification examination. And if passed, will receive their certification for medical laboratory science, or MLS, through ASCP. Next slide, please. So this is the curriculum of the MLS graduate program. It takes 18 months to complete, and typically we'll start in the spring semester. And we'll begin in that spring semester with the 4 major disciplines in medical laboratory science, that being chemistry, immunohematology, hematology, and micro, and all of those will have an accompanying laboratory portion as well. And then in the summer, students will continue with some other interdisciplinary courses like genetics, body fluid analysis, and then they'll also take a course on research design as well as statistics to prepare them for their capstone project that will come the following spring. In the first fall semester, they'll take the level 2 courses of all of those disciplines, and they'll learn about instrumentation in the laboratory. And we typically will have a simulated laboratory in our student laboratory, where we'll actually set up a mock real laboratory, and we'll have assigned supervisors and technologists who will move around the benches and do different testing and try to get those laboratory results out in a reasonable time, just like working in a real lab with the phones ringing and all of those real life scenarios. And then in the second spring, students are taking a course in regulatory and fiscal issues in laboratory management. So this will prepare students, if they do decide to move into laboratory management and administration, this will set you up nicely. You'll have your master's degree. You'll have a taste of what management is like and how laboratory operations work. And so if you want to get a job in laboratory management, you will have the portfolio to do so. That flow cytometry course is also taught during this time. My hybrid molecular diagnostic course is taught at this time, and then the students during this spring semester will complete in one semester their capstone project. And typically for our students in the MLS program, it will be a literature review of some sort, but it could be wet bench if you can complete it in that one semester timeframe. And then in the second summer semester, this is when our students are going to go out on their clinical rotations. So we're going to have 4 of those in those major disciplines. Immunology is lumped in with micro, and body fluids with chemistry. So we're going to send you out to affiliate laboratories that we're associated with in Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. And you will spend 3 weeks working alongside medical laboratory scientists in the hospital and testing fresh specimens, and under the guidance of those MLSs, reporting out results. All of these are set up for you in advance, and we will let you know before you go where you're going to be going and for how long. Next slide, please. And some of the career trajectories of our students, of course, you can go on to get a doctorate degree if you'd like, but many of our graduates, I think almost all of them, have gone on to get a job right out of school. And it's a great problem to have, is multiple job offers. So many of our students, when they're actually on the rotations, maybe even the first or second rotation in that second summer, they're already getting multiple job offers, likely from places they've worked while they've been a student, or maybe from that site that they're actually doing their rotation at. So you might get job offers coming in throughout your time in your rotations. Some students might want to work in immunohematology and work at the blood bank. So we have students that have worked at the blood bank and continue to do so. And they're issuing out all testing and making sure that they're safe, all those blood products that are collected from donors, and then transporting them across the state and other states to provide those components for patients. And then we have other people who are going on to do other types of more technical professional degrees like perfusionists or some type of technician. Thank you very much. And I'm going to pass it on to, I believe, Dr. Batish now.
Thanks, Andrew. So I hope you guys can hear me well now, right? Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about the Masters in Medical Sciences, which is essentially like our sort of like all-in-one combination, flexible, most flexible curriculum, because here we are not really restricted to a very, as we just heard from Andrew and Leslie about, tied in place, like every semester there is set number of courses and we already tell you what to do. But in this one, essentially it's open, you are really exploring what your interests are. And it is for those people who are not so sure where they want to go, but they don't think they're ready for the job yet, but they want to really gain knowledge or get some more technical competency in another area of practice, or want to explore other directions before they, make up their mind. So it's really a great opportunity for like a gap year or for like a post-bac kind of thing, because they want to really know what is their calling, right? And they are not sure yet. So this is where it will be a perfect fit for you. And it's not completely open. So we do have some core courses like, courses like regulatory and fiscal issues in lab management. That is something you need to know if you're going to go in that direction. And lab education administration, how do you do a research design? So those are like fundamental core courses. But beyond that, we have a whole list. And this list is not only from a department, but you can take any course from the whole university catalog. So basically the idea is that you will take a set number of elective courses from whichever graduate program you like. And in addition, then you will also engage in some sort of field work, could be a research practicum, could be an advanced practicum going out on a placement. And you have also an option of actually, even if you want to try, teaching practical, like, trying to learn how you teach, like doing a teaching assistantship with the courses that are already going on for undergraduates in the lab, in the department. So that gives you a lot of open room to play around and try and make up your mind for where you go. So can we go to the next slide? So this is really understanding what I just told you. So there are core courses which all the students in Masters in Medical Science will take. But then there is options in fieldwork also. So where you could choose from advanced practicums, or you can do lab education or lab administration and management. So there are options there. And then you have the 6 to 8 credits of electives that are totally open, and you can choose any graduate level course. And also you will be doing contemporary topics research, which again, based on your liking, you could actually find a lab to do a wet bench research, or you could do a literature review and learn about more in depth about a current topic that you're passionate about. So if you look at this in totality, this really helps you if you have not yet found your true calling. Find that, right? And then we are here all the time to really help you guide. And you could you don't have to sign up for all those electives on the day one. So you can, go in one and then try another one. So this really keeps the options open for you. So these are like the main master's courses that we have to offer. So I think in the next slide, I'm just going to put them all next to each other so that you have the whole picture in front of you in case it has been a lot of jargon that we threw at you. So if you put them all in context, so really, there are 3 different options. One in the biotech, one is in medical lab sciences, and third, which we call as medical sciences, which include essentially all of them together. So you can look at the timeline also. So based on how many courses you want to sign up for the MS in medical sciences, its duration is also flexible. Whereas for the MS in applied molecular biology and biotechnology, it's lockstep process. So there's a 1-year fast track program, whereas MS in medical lab sciences is an 18-month program. So based on the curriculum, they have foundational courses, there is some field work involved, there is hands-on labs involved in all 3 of them. And again, as we just mentioned, depending upon where you are in your career right now and what your plans are, where you want to get from here, different type of applicants will have, preference for either one of these master's program. They are all offered on campus most of it, but there is always a little bit of online component. There is at least 1 or 2 courses in each of these 3 tracks that are online, especially the courses in the summer, or like, the hybrid courses where you could have an online component. And these online components also vary. Some of them are synchronous, where you actually meet on a Zoom call with your instructor, or some are asynchronous, where you have office hours with the instructor. And for all 3 of them, we have requirements are very similar. You need a bachelor's degree and a 3.0 GPA. And right now, for this cycle, there is no GRE required. And you might be catching in the news, many colleges, many schools are going back to requiring GRE. We are not there yet. So make use of this. So right now, there is no GRE requirement. And based on how many, which of these you choose, there are different number of credit hours that you need to do. And based on, how many credits you sign up for, each of them has a different price tag with that. I guess it's one of the things that, it's a kind of sometimes become a deciding factor where to go based on how much it's going to cost. So we thought that it's good to provide you that information right here. So this is what I have for you in terms of the master's program. And I think next we will have move on to Dr. Prasher for the PhD program. So Eric has his hand up. You have a question, quick question, we can take it before we move on. You want to unmute and say, Eric, or you want to put it in chat?
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. So good afternoon. So I'm Eric from Ghana. So my question, I am already a practicing medical laboratory scientist. So in other words, I have BSc in medical laboratory science, of which I've been practicing. If I want to consider a master's course, does it mean that because I'm already practicing a master's course, a BSc medical lab science, I can't study MSc medical lab science, which I really wanted to do? Or which one would be appropriate for me in this case?
Yeah, I'll take that. That would be correct, Eric. So because you already have a bachelor's in medical laboratory science, this is an entry-level master's program. So you've already learned all this information, and the students are going to go on and have entry-level positions as medical laboratory scientists. The more appropriate program for you would be the medical sciences, the master's in medical sciences. That would be more appropriate for an MLS or a biotech who already has that bachelor's degree.
Okay. So it means that I can do the MSc in the molecular biology,
Medical sciences?
only in the medical sciences.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, I guess I'll get started with the next program because we don't want to miss out on time. And just to remind everybody, we have a question answer round towards the end of this presentation. So please hold on to your questions, or please feel free to write them in the chat in the meantime. So, so this program in PhD in medical sciences is designed for those who have incredible amount of curiosity, for those who want to break the boundaries of knowledge and they want to discover something new. So that's part of this program, where it's a traditional thesis-based program where you have you can choose your potential advisors based on the field that you're interested in. And those advisors could be from our own department, or actually anybody from UD, University of Delaware, could be part of it. And we'll talk a little bit more about what type of fields we have been covering so far in this program. But the core curriculum for this course involves your knowledge and training in biochemistry, genetics, as well as research design. So you'll be trained in those aspects of research. So we are having on molecular biology for most of our students who do research in this area. And one of the big point about our program, as compared to most other PhD programs, is that students begin their research right when they join. So in the very first year of starting this program, they would join a research lab and start working on their research project. That means that they don't need to do any lab rotations at all, which usually take up time in the beginning of PhD curriculum, generally speaking, for other programs. And therefore, these students that we have in this program can make research progress right away, right? So they are well ahead in their research. And obviously, the program requires knowledge of research area that is of interest to the student, and matching of the right faculty right away as they start their journey. And funding for this, or the fellowships for the students, come from two sources in this program, which means that you will be actually paid in this program. This is the only one where you get paid out of all that we have been discussing. And the funding comes either from your ability and execution of teaching laboratory classes, or as a teaching assistant, or your ability to act as a research assistant in a research lab. So based on the availability of such resources, you will get a fellowship, and if you are successful, get a PhD degree at the end of this program. Next slide, please. So like I said, one of our biggest strength is ability to offer different scientific fields, of different molecular sciences. We go all the way from health policy, global health, education outcomes, those kind of subjects, then to microbes, microbiome, or infectious diseases, which is part of my lab research. And then moving on to vision in the case of Dr. Biswas, and then also on cancer as well as neuroscience. So you have a wide spectrum of fields for you to choose from when you select this program. And the number of faculty who do such research are mentioned right in white font here. So you can contact them for availability of positions in their research labs. So it's a wide spectrum of fields for you to choose from, which is, I think, very rare to find in other programs. Next slide, please. So another great thing about our program is our students participate in dissemination of knowledge. They would go to national awards. They would attend these meetings that happen nationally as well as internationally. They would many times get fellowships to attend such meetings, to present. Recently, we have had students present their research in different meetings at international level. They would also publish reputed papers, I would say, as well as book chapters towards the end of their findings, so to disseminate the knowledge that they found in their study. They would also engage in further dissemination of this knowledge by connecting to students or to the next generation. Starting from within the research lab, they would teach or mentor junior students, as well as they would go out to other places to sort of teach other students the techniques that are foundational for molecular biology. As far as our recent graduates go, we have students who ended up in getting academic faculty positions after their PhD, as well as some who wanted to go even further deep into their research to act as postdoctoral candidate or positions that they got. Some go to companies or industry to act as research scientists, whether it's biotech, biopharma, or other research institutes. Our students go to all these places upon graduating in this program. Next slide, please. Another strength that we have here is the availability of resources. So as you can see on a map on the right-hand side, the arrows in this map depict the buildings where the department research faculty are located. So these are three major hubs of research in entirety of University of Delaware. What that means is, as a PhD student, you have access to all the equipment, resources that these state-of-the-art facilities have. These include, not limited to, obviously. So we started out in Willard Hall as a department. That's our foundational parent building. And then we have Delaware Biotechnology Institute, which is where my research lab and Mona's is. And then we have AP Bio building towards the bottom of this left side, where we have another research facility where our faculty have labs, including Dr. Sam Biswas and Dr. Esther Biswas. So my point here is that within this program, you will have access to, again, state-of-the-art facilities so that your research doesn't pause or stop just because there is a particular equipment that you don't have. Next slide, please. So that sort of summarizes my presentation of the PhD program, and I'm sure you learned about the major points about this. And at this point, I'll take a pause and take your questions. So please feel free to unmute yourself and ask the question, or please type your question in the chat, and we will take those as they come to us. Please go ahead.
Like we have some hands raised as well as question in the chat.
Okay, let's see. I missed.
So there's a question. The question about this is from Eric about the Bachelor of Science in Med Lab Science. Could he pursue the molecular biology biotechnology master's? Certainly, that is an option as well. As well as the master's in medical sciences. And then, do we have scholarship offers for the programs? Kelly, do you want to take that one or no?
For some weird reason, I don't see the chat questions. I don't know why.
Oh, they're not showing.
Now I started seeing it. Okay, sorry about it. Yeah.
That's okay.
We have a question from Irene on can I pursue a course?
Okay. I'm seeing in the Q&A, there's a question about, do we have scholarships for the programs? The master's programs do not have assistantships or that kind of thing, tuition help. The PhD program does. We do. Everybody's either a research assistant or a teaching assistant. There's also a question for the PhD program. What's as soon as someone can complete it? It's designed about 5 years. We've had people go quicker than that. We've also had some folks come in who don't yet have a master's, who have a bachelor's, so they need a little bit more foundational work to get up there, who can take up to 7 years. I think that's his institutional policy. They're generally right around 5 years. There was some extension during COVID because people couldn't get in the labs and everything, but they generally aim for about 5 years for the PhD. I know there were some questions too in the sign-up sheet. They'd asked about what kind of majors would be coming in, a zoology degree or a nutrition degree or dietetics degree. Do any of the faculty want to address what sorts of bachelor's degrees are appropriate for coming into these programs?
Sure. I can. You can hear me okay? So a lot of our students that come into particularly the biotechnology and the MLS programs have backgrounds in chemistry, biochemistry, biology, those types of degrees, because there are requirements, particularly with the, actually, I think in both programs, of having a background in those courses in order to have that foundation of knowledge that is needed to be able to be very successful in those programs. So typically science-based majors in their undergrad is what they've completed in most cases. Andrew, did you want to add anything to that?
No, that would be the same for the medical laboratory science graduate program, something in the sciences. So you have a science background. It might not be necessarily heavily laboratory based, but that's fine because we'll teach you the laboratory skills here. But anything in the sciences would be appropriate.
Eric, I don't know if you put all your questions. I see your hand is raised, but I don't know if you put all your questions in the chat. Did you have any other questions? Yes.
Hey, Eric, do you have any other questions?
Thank you so much. So please, so the second thing, I'm also from an English-speaking country. So with the, in terms of the criteria, do I have to get maybe a proficiency exams or something, maybe English proficiency?
I can answer that one. Generally, if there's a list of countries, and I know Ghana is one of them. If you had your degree in an English-speaking institution, then there you can ask for a waiver. There are other countries where we will need to see the TOEFL or IELTS scores, but there is a list of English-speaking countries where you can ask for that waiver. If your degree was in English, or of course, if you went to, say, Britain and you got your degree in London or something like that, you can ask for a waiver there. Somebody had asked about GREs. For the PhD, we do still ask for the GRE. For the master's degrees, we do not.
Okay. And the last one, please, I'm also considering, so I want to apply for next year. Please, so in this case, for 2025 admissions, when do I start getting prepared?
For spring of 2025, I'm not sure when they should be opening it soon. I think it's in early summer. Andrew, do you remember when they open the application
I
portal
think it's
for spring?
I think it's after the summer, because the fall application cycle closes in July. So it would
Okay.
be after that. So sometime in late summer, early fall.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yes, the
Thank you.
MLS starts in the springtime. There's a question, does one require a bank statement for application? Not for the application, there may be issues with the visa. So that's a question for your embassy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a limit of the number of students we accept per year, particularly in MLS? Andrew, do you want to address that? We have small classes.
Yeah, small classes. No, there's no limit. We'll take as many as we can get. We have plenty of space for additional students, so there's no limit for the MLS graduate program. I think that's the same for the biotech as well.
I have another question. Hi.
Okay.
So my name is Gabriela. I'm from Puerto Rico, and I'm obviously well interested in the MLS program. I was wondering if you guys have like something that you look on, like something to look for on a candidate that makes them perfect, not perfect, but like a good candidate for the program. What do you think? Like, obviously, I want to get in. I want to be part of the Blue Hens. I want to be there. And obviously, well, I need some tips. I need something so I can know that I'm a good candidate and try my best. So what do you think? Is there any tip, anything? I will have anything.
I can give you a little bit of insight. So definitely the requirements, so GPA requirements, the course requirements from your undergraduate degree are really important and taken into consideration. And then also your personal statement and letters of recommendation are really important. So in your personal statement, I want to see what your motivation is for this program. Why do you want to become a medical laboratory scientist? What are your professional goals in the future? Those type of things. So make sure you speak to that from the heart. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
I think that covers it all.
Pull up this slide. Here you can see all of the individuals. Some of them are here with their different roles and email addresses. Kelly, are you sharing this back out to everyone who is here today?
Yes, I'll send the slides to everybody.
Great, thank you. But we still have some time. Does anybody have any other questions?
I actually do. I'm sorry.
No, that's great.
So I was wondering, like, give me a moment. Do you think, or like, do you recommend students working and studying at the same time? Because obviously we are I don't know about the everyone else here, but I'm 21, almost turning 22, and obviously I need to eat and I need to live, and I need, well, money so I can pay for all of this. And this is a great this is really important for all of us. So do you recommend working and studying at the same time? Is there any way to like extend and like do something like in the applied molecular biology and that you can extend that time more than 18 months? Do you think that's possible? What? Yeah, that.
I don't know who wants to, you wanna go?
For the MLS program, yes, we can certainly extend the
Mhm.
program. So we have a student now that's taking an extended track to complete the program. We still want to keep you at 9 credits a semester, but it's probably not going to be, if you want to do an extension, it's not going to be completed in the 18-month. It's going to be longer, and you'll take less than the typical 15 to 17 credits per semester. So it'll be a smaller course load each semester, allow you to finish it with more time, but you'd also have that flexibility. I wouldn't recommend working full time because you're going to be in the lecture and laboratory all day for these MLS courses. But maybe a part-time or relief position, maybe on the weekends or evenings, might be appropriate. There are some students that do that, but you really don't want to let it impact your academic performance.
Sure.
Okay, and right now, just telling you a little bit more about myself. I'm working like work and study in my bachelor's degree. I'm in microbiology here in Puerto Rico. So it's pretty easy to like do that and work and study, obviously, because I'm in the university. But do you have that option there to like work and study in the same campus or something like that?
So if I'm understanding your question correctly, like a work study type of position, those are available to undergrads only here. But there are some job opportunities, I think, posted in the grad college for interested students. I don't know what kinds of jobs. I haven't really explored that. Have you looked at that at all, Kelly?
No, I know that there are grad labor jobs throughout campus.
And we've hired graduate students to do some things, basic things, office type stuff before. But we do have hospitals in the area that do hire students to work in the weekends, in the summer, things like that, because they're looking for help to cover times of the week or times of the summer that they're short because of vacations or staffing or whatever. So students have done that, worked weekends, every other weekend, things like that at some of the area hospitals.
And I've also put a link to UD level work study positions that are up there. So I think you should go through that. That has a full description of what's out there for who and all. So I think that would be your go-to web page to find more about this.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Great, you're welcome.
There are a couple more posted questions. One, do you consider age of the person during applications? No. At a minimum, you need certain degrees and experience coming in. And on the upper end of that, I know we just had a PhD student who's in his late 40s, I think. So that's not really an issue. Are prospective PhD students required to contact a supervisor before application? Yes. In your personal statement, we would like to see who you intend to work with and how you envision that sort of arrangement going. It's a good question. Not for the master's, but for the PhD.
Anything else we can help with?
Yes. I have a question. I posted it in the chat. Yes, I was referring to someone who is a recent medical school graduate.
Only you alone,
Kelly, can you mute?
Thank you.
Sorry, go ahead, Emanuela.
No problem. Yes, I just wanted to be 100% sure because for the MLS program, it automatically disqualifies those who have a medical laboratory science bachelor's. But what about those that are coming from medical school? So if you are a recent graduate from medical school, are you still able to apply for the MLS program or no?
You're talking about the medical sciences or the med lab science?
Med lab sciences, yes.
We actually have had people apply to that program and enter the program with those backgrounds in the past.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any others? Any of my colleagues have anything they want to add?
There is another question from Annette in case we did not take it. Are prospective PhD students required to contact a supervisor before application? It's highly, highly recommended to contact a potential supervisor before you apply or during your application. It would certainly help you if you find a match in terms of a research lab from different perspectives of because our PhD program wants to get you started right away in your research part. Sooner you identify your potential research lab, better it is. So the answer is yes. Another question is on, do we consider age of person during applications? Anybody who want to take it?
I think that was answered. Yeah.
Oh, it was.
We don't
Sorry.
care. That's okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. No, very
Making
good.
sure.
It's always good to answer more than once. So that's good. Thank you. Anyone else? We'll let you get on with your day if there's no other questions.
We have a new one from
Mhm.
medical. I have a first degree in Doctor of Medical Science. Can I apply for MSc Applied Molecular and Biotech? Who would like to take this? First degree in Doctor of Medical Lab Science.
We have admitted students with that background.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Emmanuel, your answer is yes.
Mhm. Great.
Is there any other question?
Any new ones? Well, we would like to thank you again for being here today. We were so excited to talk to you and we hope we answered your questions. But if you think of any additional questions, please feel free to reach out. And Kelly's going to share the slides out with you so you'll have our contact information as well. So thank you again. And we hope to see you in Delaware. Take care.
Have a good one, everybody.
Thanks.